Unbossed. Speak what you want. Unbossed. Speak what you want. Unbossed.
And we're up first.
Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great.
And we're up first.
Yes, ladies. That's dope.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
Yes, ladies.
That's dope.
And we're up first.
It's time for the ladies. Ladies. Ladies.
It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew.
Time for the ladies. Ladies. Ladies.
It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew.
One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki on boss and Nikki.
L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. And we're up first.
What's up, y'all?
Good morning.
Jamming. I saw Shawnee jamming. Saw Crystal's head going, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman. Happy Saturday. How y'all doing this morning?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
We
I,
doing? How you doing?
You know what, y'all? Y'all know every time I come on this call in the morning, I'm like, I'm great. I'm wonderful. I had a little moment this morning. It goes right fitting with our show. I had a moment this morning. Ask Brittney Griffin. I had like a mini meltdown this morning. Isn't that crazy? Like, just
You tell if you can.
Huh? I went
Listen,
walk.
but it better be meltdown worthy. If it's just a tech issue,
It's not a tech issue. It's not because of my damn ring light. It ain't because of that.
Oh, I was gonna say it better be meltdown worthy. All right.
I think what happened was when I sat down and realized my ring light wasn't working, I was like, you know what? It just ain't working. No, the meltdown was not over a ring light. But anyway, hi y'all. How you doing? As y'all can see, our favorite life coach is not here today. She has a speaking engagement in North Carolina today. So we want to shout out our sister Lachelle and giving her good energy. But we have a guest co-host today, the one and only Angela Armand Long. And right as I introduced her, she disappeared.
Yeah, I don't think she can hear.
Oh, really?
I think that's what she was saying.
She'll come back. We will bring her back. Wait a minute. I think she's back. We'll see. But anyway, y'all look beautiful in your red. And
so do you. That's your color. That's your color. And your lip matches perfectly.
Thank you. No, y'all, I had a moment today. I had an everyday woman moment. But what I want to share, they said the day our show is called The Only Journey We Should Focus On Is Our Own. And that is so true. And this morning, I just woke up. And I'm one of those people, I don't like to say, is it hormonal? But as I get older, I realize that has something to do with it. But let me tell you something. I was Marco Poloing with John Eric and also talking to Brittney this morning. And as I was having my meltdown on what I thought was wrong today, I had to listen to what I was saying. And I thought of Shawnee and being in that space of being gratefulness in that grateful jar. Everything I was coming out of my mouth was a blessing and a space of gratefulness. And I was just going, I think a little bit of, is it a hormonal? but I was going through my own journey and talking about some of the things that I want and want to get to do. And there are some resources. But the great thing about it is I got support, I got help. And one thing I was like, and then I'm not ready for this and I'm not ready for that. And I heard my say what I wasn't ready for. I gotta share something with y'all that I haven't told y'all. This happened to me on Tuesday. I booked the Victoria's Secret campaign.
What?
I realized I hadn't told y'all.
You better get this thick little
Yeah.
booty on down. Come on.
Yes.
What?
As
What?
As I was talking, and I was talking about all the things in this journey that, like, not that it was wrong, but all the things that I gotta do instead of what I get to do. I stopped when I was in the shower, and then I stopped crying. I was like, excuse my language, mom, bitch, really? Get out of here and get out of this shower. Put your lotion on, like Nikki say, and your deodorant, and get in this chair and keep going on with your journey and being grateful for all the amazing blessings and gifts. And yeah, there are some things that aren't going the way you want to, but that's a blessing and a gift. And guess what? It's part of the damn journey. That's how I looked at it.
Yes,
So,
it is.
that's so dope. And but the thing is, what you just said really has blessed me, and it should really bless everyone. I think I was saying this to my son earlier this week. I think parents lie to kids. This is the lie, okay? You be a good person and you get all A's and you do your best and like your life is just it's a lie. A lot of crazy stuff happens that you didn't cause. A lot of things happen that I'm not speaking to everybody else. I'm saying I wonder sometimes if I prepare all the children assigned to my life for the fact that things will be kind of effed up sometimes. It will be. Don't like manifest crazy stuff, but I'm saying don't always think, oh, something's going to be wrong. But the reality is not everything is like, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great. You don't always win the game. You don't always, you're not always the prettiest. You're not always, you know what I mean? And what I think helps is the gratitude jar, which I still have, Chandra. And because it helps you say, like, regardless of where you are in your head, you're like, I have some amazing stuff. I'm standing up on my own 2 feet washing these dishes right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that can't do that.
I know.
Look, I got hair. I got some gray in it, but I got some hair to put the little black mascara on. Some people ain't got no hair. You understand? Like you need to have those moments in the shower where you're like, wait a minute, I have some amazing stuff going on as well. And how about that focus be on that just for a minute? Because guess what? The other messed up stuff, you can go back to that. That's real too. But it's not the only thing that's happening. So I'm happy to hear you say that. I'm thrilled about this campaign, whatever you just booked with the secret. And how dope is that?
Yeah, I know.
We celebrate you in this moment. Stop.
Thank you. So yeah, so I just I just wanted to, I'm basically just being authentic and transparent and just saying what's on the top of the dome this morning. And I felt like that it goes totally with what we're talking about and the focusing on the journey. And our guests, we have a guest co-host today. We also have a special guest today. And I'm going to bring our guest co-host back. Those of y'all that just tuning in, our favorite life coach, Lachelle, is at a speaking engagement today. And we have a guest co-host that rocked with us, that's been with us before when we first started. And also, remember we said we were going to talk about what happened last Wednesday. But don't be mad at us. We want all of us to be in attendance when we do it. So we're going to push it to next week. But follow us on Instagram and you will start seeing stories and pictures of what we're talking about. So you will already be ready to go next week. But when we had our event for Women's Day, this woman, our special guest, gave so many great gems and interacted with us. Her name is Angela Armand Long, Journeywoman, Empath, mother of four, in tune and sensitive intellectuals, helping others see the beauty that connects us all together as we evolve on a daily basis. I'm bringing my other sister to the screen this morning as our co-host, Angela Armand Long. How are you, lovely?
Good morning. Good morning, ladies. Oh man, everyone is so bright and cheery. I'm so glad to be here with you all. I'm so
Great to have
glad.
you.
Yeah.
It is good. And
Good morning, Shamika.
I thought Angie would be so perfect for our show today. Um, Angie, real quick, what's a journeywoman empath? I want to ask you that. I love that because I hear about journeyman. Can you break down the journeywoman empath? Because I think that's gonna go perfect with what we're talking about today.
Well, just to summarize it, it's someone who, as we are on this path together, right, we're able to touch individual lives in very specific ways that works for them. So, sometimes we can look at topics or ideas and generally glean different points from them that relate to us. But as I go through my daily walk, I'm in touch with people, everyday people on a regular basis, and they open up to me. And as they're talking to me, whatever they're talking about, I can tap into what that missing point. Sometimes it's a big missing point, but we can come to aha moments together. And it's like having a sermon anywhere you go. So as a journey woman, people kind of seek you out. They seek you out spiritually, they call upon you during conversations, and it's almost like an activation point. I don't know, I'm like, write it down. And you've heard me say that before, Nikki. So I'm able to be in tune in the moment, focus on the people that I'm engaging with, and helping them along their journey. And it's like, it's a tribe of people that come to you, and there are many journey women and journey men, but it's those that are, for me, come out of nowhere. Lately I've been getting a lot of older women from all different types of backgrounds that, for instance, I'll be in a store and some older, I call them the grandmas because that's what my son calls them, not out of disrespect, but he loves grandmothers, always has. um, just recently, and they'll walk by and say, "You have such a good spirit." No words have been spoken, don't know you. And we have been in this shopping center for 2 hours talking about whatever topics have come up and can go on and on and on. So, basically, it's just someone who is in tune in the moment to those people that come to them and fulfilling an unknown need until it's revealed. And that empath part allows me to tap into what it is that they are actually trying to say, even if they don't have the words. So it's I'm a talker. I enjoy it. I had to figure it out. I'm just looking it up. I had to figure it out. What is this? Because it happens so often. So yeah, that's what a journey woman is, and empath. More people are more familiar with that, but it just allows me to be in tune in the moment to the people that I am presented with.
Welcome, journey woman, empath. And I'm going to kick off our show. Our topic today, the only journey we should focus on is our own. And we started talking about this on Thursday, and we've been conditioned to only be engrossed in what we are doing instead of focusing on the journey. Like this morning, I'm sitting here focusing on what instead of focusing on the journey. So what happens when we stay focused on the task instead of the journey? Do you end up staying too long in something? Do you end up focusing on things you don't want? And what is something you are still doing and you shouldn't be doing it? What will happen if you just let go and begin focusing on the journey? And we're going to bring our other guest in later because she's going to talk about when she decided to let go and focused on the journey, how her life has shifted. So I'm going to throw that to y'all. Are you focusing on your own journey, Crystal JG, Nikki Boss, Chandra, Angela?
Wow. Can you rephrase? Can you ask a different question? Because um, yeah, that's a no. I mean, just to be completely honest, especially a wife and a mother, it's hard. It's really hard to 100% focus on your own journey. When you have other people that you worry about daily and other journeys that you are in charge of helping nourish and flourish, and all that kind of stuff, is really hard to just focus on yourself. I found myself, or I find myself, like, going real gung ho for myself, like, it's me time, self care, blah blah blah, and the whole time I'm like, ooh, I hope my wife is, ooh, I hope my babies are, oh God, I did it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like my journey. When I look at a visual of, like, my lane, that phrase, stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane. I hate them people that say that. But when what I see my lane, literally visually, I see like merger lanes always on my lane. Like I've never just envisioned my lane and it's just one lane. I've always seen like merger lanes, because one, like I've said before, I am that person. Besides my family, I am that person that most people come to for advice, for help, for direction, for maybe I'm a journey woman, child. Like, so to just nah, G. Mm-mm. Am I playing? That's a hard no.
Chandra, I love you so much. You make me laugh. Oh my God. You make me laugh. Listen, I love your answer. Um, because that's how I feel. And then there are people that we meet all the time as a result of this platform that we encourage to really step out of everybody else and concentrate on the, so it's kind of like both all the time, right? It's a fight to do, sorry, choices to do. I'm not going to think about my journey. I have to think about them, whoever the them is. Like, it's not just connected to children, right? It's, careers, others are, aging parents, all kind of stuff. And you find yourself not seeing that you're really not choosing the journey. And then I was on a call with someone yesterday that asked me to participate in a really incredible project, like as a judge for like an art contest, right? And I just was like, he's like, I was talking to some of my colleagues and your name came up. So now, you know how they say in church, like I'll put you before, like I didn't even know that this, I know him through a friend. And then he was in a situation where my name came up to, and I just was like, wow. And then I said, thank you so much for thinking of me. And he started describing kind of parts of my journey that he knew about through other people. Right. So I was like, I'm so busy being like completely overwhelmed by all of the things, the task oriented things. And somebody else saw my journey and reached out to a friend who had to reach out to me, because you understand. So there's this journey part is really interesting, whether we see it or not, whether you're choosing it or not, you're on this journey, even the journey of making sure your kids are, anybody with kids in diapers, or who, little kids, like you got little babies, anybody in that space is feeling like you feel, if they're the kind of parent that you are. But my point is, like, that's part of the journey too, and you don't even get it when you're in it.
Not at all. Yeah, I don't know, this topic kind of, I go back and forth on this topic a lot, just because our, even the platform that we have is saying, like, encouraging women or people to find their paths and do their things and take care of themselves and be open to change and blah blah blah, you know, all the different things. But I mean, just to be blatant, that shit is hard.
Yeah, it goes back to the conversation I think we had this week too. As I was thinking about this topic, what we're really saying is just live. There was something that I remembered this morning that someone said to me. I think it went something like, desire is a contract that we make with ourselves to be unhappy until we get something. And when I thought about that, I don't remember who said it or where I got it from. But when I thought about that, I thought about how we spend so much time on thinking about the things we have to do or we're told we need to do. And I think that's also where our guests are going to come from, right? Like when Brittney comes on, it's more about also what is just going to happen. Like Lachelle says, the universe will bring it to you, right? So I think for me, the journey is just about trying to find a way to trust that it's not in the specific task that you're executing or the things that people are telling you you need to do, but it's also knowing that while you're living, it's going to take you where you want to go.
I love that. While you are living, it's going to take you where you want to go. And it's go ahead, Nikki. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, that's it. Because when you're living, it's not just what you put in your path. It's also what comes in your path, whether it's because of the decisions you made, because of people you know, whatever it may be.
It's the Alchemist. That's exactly I don't want to blow it for y'all, but that is what the book The Alchemist is about, right? It's not about the fork and which one you choose, but if whichever one you choose, there will be people on the path that connects you to the next thing, connects you to the next thing. It is about the, you know, scripturally, they were blessed as they went. Like you must go, you must go, because staying there, there's no blessing in just here, right? You go,
right,
and you go, and then there's somebody that calls you and say, hey, you want to do this show with me? And then somebody sees you on the show and then you're like, I just booked a Victoria's Secret, you know what I mean? But it is very much like that. It is very much like that.
Yeah. So when you say, are you focused on your journey or the task? I mean, they kind of go together. It's the task that'll take you on the journey. And I guess I'm pushing the envelope a little bit and saying, yeah, we're going to do that stuff, but almost just live, like let the journey ride through the journey, because.
No, I love that, Nikki, ride through the journey. And I think this morning when I was sharing with y'all, we talk about the task. Yeah, the task is a part of the journey, but I was so focused on the task and the task that I was doing. And I was so focused. Someone that is usually positive was so focused on the task and it not going right or not going the way I wanted to go. But like I said, when I got in the shower and took a deep breath and thought about everything, I was like, wow, this is great.
So yeah, if you think about your Victoria's Secret, campaign, right?
Right.
That's part of your journey. It wasn't something you were
Yeah, I wasn't focused on, I gotta book this campaign. Someone recommended me. They interviewed me. They liked me. Can I tell y'all real quick? I am the girl in her 40s that used to be a certain size, and now as she moves into her 40s, she's embracing her new body and how it affects her everyday lifestyle and her mentality. That is not me. That is who I represent. And guess what? That is part of my freaking journey.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, if I could say something was very key that you mentioned when you talked about you went and took a shower. And there are a few things you can do when you're caught in a panic moment or in a moment of uncertainty, or just you're excited about the possibilities of things going wrong. because there's excitement can go in either way. It's how you how you take it. But you took a shower, and that's one of the things that's recommended. So if you're feeling panic, if you're feeling uncertain, if you're feeling a tension, you can take 10 deep breaths in and out. We know that, right? Another one is going in the shower and just letting the water wash over you. And it literally washes that feeling of anxiety and of worry away, like it did in your case. And then having mindful moments. That's a combination of the breath or whatever, just kind of slow it down. But each of you made some very key points. Nikki, when you were talking about the, focus on the task as opposed to the journey, or you can still focus on the task as you're going through your journey. The thing about it is the journey always has to have the full focus. And like Nikki said, the task will be there, and new tasks, depending on the journey, depending on, Crystal, the fork in the road that you take, it's going to be a task. So one road is going to give you these tasks. Another road is going to give you these tasks. One may be more complicated than the other, but trust that in God, he's not going to give you any task or road or fork that you can't, overcome. The main thing is when the task presents itself, being prepared or having yourself a plan for when these moments come up. And for very successful women like yourselves and like our guests that's coming on, they're going to present themselves more often. The more challenging or the more adventurous or the more outgoing or the more that you press against the envelope, the more task or the more opportunities to show those innate skills that you haven't necessarily displayed or you haven't practiced or they don't come to you as easily, because you can do it, but does it come to you at that moment? And then usually the answer to that is no, if you hadn't practiced it. But as you do practice it, it becomes easy. And then that task isn't a task. It's just a part of your toolkit. And then you move on to the next one.
Come on, Angela.
Everybody, I'm just saying. I
need to ask you something.
Okay, no, you can ask ahead.
Go ahead. I don't want you to forget.
So, the whole thing about it's the way we look at it, right? Just like when we talk to ourselves, that voice in the head, we're the only ones that can hear it. No one else knows the panic. No one else knows that we don't know. So how are we going to handle it, right? How are we going to handle that? Number two, things are hard. If we get out of our head, like Crystal said, parents are not teaching their children that things are not fairy tales. People want, fairy tales help you imagine. They help you create, and you need that, but you also need to be grounded. So, unfortunately or fortunately, my children got to experience my difficulties with me. They live between their father and myself, and I struggled a little bit more than their father. And I would tell them, I say, you see this? You see where we are? Don't worry. And then I would always return when things changed. And I was like, look, you remember this? Now look. And we tend to hide those things from our kids and from our friends because we don't want to expose failure. But failure is a part of the process. And if they can't see you fail and succeed, then they have no hope. And so showing them the failure in the moments and showing them how you overcome them is a skill and is an art that they need to learn. And, so
failure is the door to opportunity.
Failure is a door to opportunity. And why do we keep that from our kids? What are we hiding? So they won't feel the pain. Mm-hmm. And the more we hide it, the harder it is for them, because all they see is us succeeding and us being perfect. And they have no idea that these things have come at a price. They've come, but we aren't. And so, the one thing we have to keep in mind is our perspective. How do we see what's in front of us? And just through consistency, get fit with Nick, it's not about how much you can lift. Do you lift every day? It's not about, the types of programs that you put on. Are you presenting work every day that you can work on and continue? It's that consistency, and the body loves it. The mind loves it. And if we practice that consistency in all areas, how we see things, what we say to ourselves, it helps our journey. And then lastly, I always say, and I tell people, I'm like, look, life is life. It's not hard. It's not easy. It just is. And we are blessed to be breathing this air. whether, no matter what, is it COVID air? Maybe. Is it regular air? Maybe. But we're here and we're blessed to breathe it. And then we'll figure it out. We'll just figure it out. And
Yeah,
that's just
I
the
don't want no COVID
beauty
air.
of life.
Don't keep that over.
No, but I'm just saying, girl. I was so sick. I had to pray and pray and pray. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a guest host and I'm gonna have to cancel because I felt so sick. And someone else felt sick. And I was like, why is everybody, getting sick at the same time? So that I don't want it. But then what do? You get up, you steam, you clear out, blow your nose, get up, wash your face, jump in the shower, and then you are ready for whatever it is that we're going to have to face. So that's it. That was a lot, but it really, the main point is just to keep your focus. Just keep your focus and don't let this. It's like you have to this is nonsense. This is not real, right? When it's happening, it's a thin line between delusion and reality, because you got to have to, to go and do big things that you can't see, right? Like in the Bible, the faith is the things unseen. And I know I messed that whole verse up or whatever, but you know what it is you want, and God has put it on your soul and in your head, so it has to be possible, and you just have to kind of just press forward and keep visualizing it until it meets you. It's going to catch up with you, and then it's going to be in the past, and you're not even going to realize or remember that this is something that I was reaching for, because you'll have it and then it'll be on for the next thing. But staying in the moment and not, that balance is what's key. I know I have to look forward and also be grounded at the same time.
Right. Thank you for all that you just said. It was beautiful, and I'm here like.
I got 5 points. I'm be like, girl, Angela.
But the thing that always sticks to me in pretty much any conversation that I have with anyone about life and goals and journeys and whatever, it always comes back to like childlike basics, like how you were saying about teaching the children and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I kind of go out teaching my kids differently than definitely the way that I was taught about, just like exposure to things, and like they see everything, right? Callie, come here real quick. Come here.
Callie, come on over.
Come here real quick. What are our 3 rules when we go out? Put your hands out loud.
Listen here, guys.
They couldn't hear you. Say it louder. Say it really loud. Ready? Listen.
Have fun, be kind.
Listen, have fun, and be kind. And I'm like, and those things, in Journey, I tell her, if you can't go into a situation and listen to your surroundings.
Hi.
Be kind.
Hi, Callie Bear.
Be kind in that surrounding and have fun at what you're doing, then it's time to kick rocks and move on. And that I always have to like say that to myself, because we go into in our lives, in our journeys, we're like moving and shaking, and we come into spaces and can't do those things. You don't feel like you want to be kind to the people around you. You feel like you can't listen to what's happening, or the surrounding is just too much for your soul, your spirit is not aligned with what you want and what you love, how you want to be, how you want to feel. And then you just be like, I ain't having fun, but I'm here. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I tell my daughter, if those things don't just on a day-to-day, she goes to school every day. And I'm like, if you can't listen, be kind, and have fun, go on over to the blocks. Get on. And I feel like, say that to yourself, sis. If you can't listen and feel comfortable in the space that you're in, if you can't be kind to yourself and to people that are in your space on that part of your journey, and if you aren't enjoying it, having fun, then it's time to go on that down the other way, sis.
It's so fun. I love that, Shani. I love that. Listen, have fun, and be kind. And I should have said ... Callie D. Listen, have fun, and be kind. But something you just said that prompted me is a good time to bring on our special guest. When you're not enjoying something, it's time to go over to the next thing. And it's a perfect time to bring on our special guest, who happens to be my little bestie, Miss Brittney Griffin. And before we bring her on, let me just tell you who she is. She is an associate. She's a Broadway associate choreographer for a Broadway
Okay.
musical family at
But you better
Kimbo.
put all the titles.
So she's also a creative, the fixer, and a consultant. And what you said, Shani, and something that Angela said earlier too, visualize it and it goes and moving forward and then keeping everything else in the past. She took, see, Lachelle's still here today. She took Lachelle's vision board class, and I'm gonna let her talk a little bit more about it and really listen to her and started to look at the menial tasks she was doing every day and just being, and focusing on everybody else's journey, including me, making sure I'm okay and everything. And she took Lachelle's class, started looking at her visions, put them down, looked at the things that weren't working for her, Shani, and pivot and went this way and started focusing on her own journey. And then I'm gonna tell you what happened. Let me let her come on and tell you what happened. Let me bring on the best little sister, Miss Brittney Griffin. You look pretty with your red. Memo.
Come on, red and hair.
Hey, beautiful.
Hey, Britt. Hey, Britt.
Good morning. I'm laughing because I don't own red. I don't wear red. And when Nikki said red, I was like, okay, I'm just going to be in a black shirt, which if y'all saw me backstage, I was on the camera. I was taking my black shirt off. I went in the back of my closet. I found this sweater. I've never worn it. Robert gave it to me. Our friend Robert gave it to me. And I was like, oh my God, it's the only red thing I have in my closet. So I was like, let me just.
Beautiful.
I saw her backstage. I said, okay, come through, red, because she had on black. Before we get going, look who popped on the screen when I mentioned Lachelle. Lachelle's mother, Miss Murdy. Good advice. Listen, be kind and have fun. She is in the atmosphere. I love it. Perfect. Good morning, Murdy. But welcome, Brittney.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to be here.
I like Angela was talking about earlier, the vision, and Shani was saying, when things aren't working for you, you pivot and you go, you keep going, you go somewhere else when it doesn't work for you, and you keep focusing on your journey. Like I said when I introduced you, when you started really focusing on your journey and where Brittney's going and her zone of genius that Crystal always says with us, your whole life shifted. And I want you to talk about it a little bit and share it with us and your viewers and our viewers.
Yes. Okay, so I'm a performer, choreographer, director, creative. I wear a lot of hats. But for years, I have always been on the performance side, auditioning. I definitely think I was in my own way for many years. I fully realized it like a few years ago. It was never a thing of that I lacked talent or I wasn't trying or I wasn't booking. I would literally have auditions from my agent and I would say, okay, well, I don't want to go in for that until I drop 10 more pounds because the last time they saw me, I was skinnier and I just wouldn't go. Like that was constantly my thing that I would do. I joke with people and I always say like, I'm like the Luther Vandross Oprah of theater. Like my weight would go up and down. And so it was always a thing in my head. But fast forward during the pandemic, we were all in our homes, not knowing what to do, making banana bread, watching, being on Zoom all the time, So I was in Atlanta. My family lives in Atlanta. And I was down there for like a year. And it started with, it started with, there's a woman named Stephanie Clemens. She is the queen at Hamilton. She was in the original In the Heights in Hamilton. And she is someone who I'm Christian Dante Way. I can't with his comment. I need to focus. I'm sorry. So Stephanie Clemens, when Hamilton came out on Disney Plus, she was posting a lot in her stories about, behind the scenes moments of the show when she worked on it. And basically anywhere Hamilton gets put up in the world, Stephanie is sent there to be the head of everything. And she's always someone I wanted to work with. I didn't know her very well. I followed her on Instagram. That was it. So one day her and I were DMing back and forth about something she posted. And she said to me, "How did you notice that in that video clip?" And I said, "Oh, I'm the fixer. Like my eye sees everything. I catch everything." And I said, and I kind of jokingly, but not, I said, "And I would love to work with you one day." And she says, "Oh, well, when the world opens back up, I'll reach out to you." So I said, I was like, okay, yeah, like she's not going to reach out. Fast forward, so also in that same time frame, I knew that Lachelle had these classes, and Nikki was like, "Yeah, here's her info, reach out." So I set up for Lachelle to do a Zoom vision board class with myself, Nikki, our friend Robert, and our friend Kelsey. And it's not your average vision board class for people out there who are like, "Oh, I know a vision board. You just slap this stuff on a board." It's not. There's so much more to it. And it was interesting. I think it was something, Crystal, you said earlier. Lachelle often talks about, she talked a lot about with us, is your GPS. And I was always very much negative in the sense that I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to get that job because I don't know that person. And how am I going to connect? I was always trying to figure it out. So it would stop me from moving forward because I would just stress about, well, I'm not going to get there. I don't know how to get there. So I would just stand still. And Lachelle said, you know where you're starting, you know where you want to go. It's like a GPS. You know your starting address, you know the ending address. You don't have to know turn left, turn right, go around the loop, that's not your business. That's not your job.
Right.
Put in the start, put in the end, and go. And that was something that stuck with me. So I made a vision board, very detailed with all the things. And things started shifting, and I was very, very detailed about my board because that's what Lachelle talks about, putting pictures of myself, which I had never done, which a lot of people don't do for whatever reason. We're weird. We just don't. But Lachelle was like, put pictures of yourself on there. The husband you want, if you want a baby, if you want 2 babies, the house you want. Do you want white decor that feels earthy, or do you want bright colors? Do you want to be by the beach? All the things, the places you want to travel to? So I save all these pictures of things on Instagram. I printed them all out, made this board, and things started shifting. When I tell y'all things started shifting, it's still, to me, not that I don't believe it, but I'm still in shock sometimes at how much my life has drastically changed. So I'm all over the place, but I come out of the pandemic, and Stephanie Clemens, the woman that I reached out to in the DMs,
Wow.
messaged me one day. She was like, "Hey, I'm putting up in the Heights at a college in Long Island. Are you interested?" And I was like, this is what? And people don't usually, in my experience, when you have an associate and you bring someone on, there's someone you've worked with for ages, you know them. People don't usually hire associates that they don't know in theater. It's usually someone they know very well that they've had by their side. We worked together. We got along super well. I've learned so much from her. We just did a show at Carnegie Hall. It's a musical that is going to come to Broadway eventually. But anything she does now, she brings me along as her associate director. And it's such a blessing from DMing somebody, And I think also a lesson in that is a lot of people are scared to be honest and say what they want. And I'm always like, no, if I want something, I'm just going to ask. And the worst thing someone could say is no. Like, okay, you say no. Okay, fine. But that especially reminded me, just ask. A lot of people don't ask. So I think when people finally do, the person you're asking is like, oh, well, I never thought of that. Sure, yeah. So that happened. And then everything started shifting. My vision board. So I have my board here. I feel like a school teacher. My vision board, I put 2 things on there that I really wanted. I wanted to be a creative consultant for Lululemon because it's a brand that I've been obsessed with. I had all these ideas of things that I wanted them to do. So I said, I want to be a creative consultant for Lululemon and I want my Broadway debut. And at 38, you know, having your Broadway debut at 38, that's old in the theater world. We're not old. No one is old here. I'm saying,
No, I just said you're 38. That means how old am I? No, I'm joking.
Tony, let's not even talk about it. I'm about to be 40 soon. It's crazy.
Mascara edges.
So I created this vision board, put it up in my room where Lachelle says, where I can see it every day. But not that I forgot about it, but I just wasn't thinking about it. Fast forward. Nikki connected me to the people at Lululemon. And I said, Nikki, just get me an interview. Just get me on a Zoom. I'll do the rest. Met with them. Fast forward, I became a creative consultant for Lululemon. Fast forward before that. Thank you, Nikki. And that was what was on my board. I literally took a tag off of my clothing, slapped it on there and wrote creative consultant and just slapped it on there. But that was, and this is something that I've been working on, basically decks that I created for them for like 2.5 years. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I am going to get in that door. So that was one thing. And the other thing was I became the associate choreographer of a new Broadway show called Kimberly Akimbo. We opened in November. And yeah, same thing. I put up a picture of a theater, of a street with a bunch of theaters. I had no reason to choose this specific photo. It was just a clear photo that I had. If you look on the picture, you'll see the Golden, the Jacobs, and then all the way in the back, you'll see the Booth Theater. That is where Kimberly Akimbo is playing.
Mm-hmm.
I put that on there 2 years ago. I had no involvement with this show 2 years ago. And I was talking to one of the kids in the show about it in manifestation. And he says, I bet you it's on your board. And I said, no, I have some theaters on my board, a picture of some marquees, but I don't think the Booth's on there. And I went home that night and I shifted over a picture that was overlapping. And there was the Booth. So I say all that to say manifestation is so real. I always believed in it, but I never really practiced it. And another thing that I want to show you guys is I bought these shower affirmations. This woman, you can find them on Instagram, but I put them in my shower. And in the morning, you know, I shower and I talk to God and I pray and but I started reading these affirmations as I was showering. And they look like this. They're like little sticky things. They just stick on your shower. So this one is, I am open and ready to receive amazing opportunities. This one says, my dreams are coming true. I dream big and think positive thoughts. I manifest abundance by being grateful for what I already have. And that was one thing that I definitely feel that I was not doing. People who know me knew I was grateful, but I don't think I was living gratefully. And I know that I wasn't thanking God for everything that I had. I would be like, thanks God for waking me up. Okay, so this is wrong. And this is, and he was probably like, girl, like, you finally have your own apartment that you've wanted to not have a roommate with in ages. Like, I just started seeing all the things that were, like Crystal was saying earlier, working in my favor. And so I was always, that's the one I always in the morning that I look at first. And I always say I manifest abundance by being grateful for what I already have. And my mom would always say, if you're grateful for what you have, more things will come. So yes, I was blabbing on for a long time, but that is the short.
I'm just curious. Are they waterproof?
Laminated.
They're laminated.
They're laminated, and in order for them to stick, you just wet it, and it just sticks to your wall.
That's freaking awesome! Yeah. I had to ask.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
And what you're saying. So I've known you vicariously and in person, but a lot through Nikki, because you guys are best friends, and Nikki and I are best friends. We're all Nikki's best friends, and so we kind of crossed.
I was gonna say I'm my best friend.
Yeah, okay. Did you see that quickly? I felt that, Crystal. I felt it as it was rolling off my tongue. I said, let me fix my mouth. But you were saying that you were had to be mindful of being thankful and grateful. And the more grateful you are, the more things that'll come to you. But a lot of people don't show gratitude in their down time, in the times where things are tough, in the times where things don't work out. It's be grateful in all things, good and bad. And so if we're only grateful for the good things, we're missing out on the biggest blessings because, I was looking at some toughness and I was like ungrounded, literally untethered from this world because this could not be my life. These things could not be happening. So I took a walk and I said, well, thank you, Lord. I just don't know what this means. But in reality, it was tough. Like in the real here and now, the things that were happening felt hard, were heavy and tough. And all I could do is say, thank you, because my mouth could still work. My tongue is still prepped and perched for giving praise, right? So be grateful, good and bad. Good is easy. Oh, thank you, Lord, I got that job. Yeah. Oh, Lord, thank you, my car got repossessed. I mean, okay, so that's a thankful too, because you know what?
It's true.
In that moment, having your car repossessed, it's not a good feeling. But then what did it relieve, right? You might have taken on maybe a little extra debt or whatever, that's whatever, but it opened the space for something else that you don't know. And in the moment, it seems hard, but just be grateful and all. And Brittney, I watched your journey. I watched you turn from being frustrated, feeling defeated, feeling like, because I remember thinking, this girl is gorgeous, or like she has the perfect size, but it's hard because I've been that woman that can't see. Have a few kids, then you will appreciate everybody that you have, because you get different bodies on this journey, baby. Bodies will be different.
Can we do a show about the body journey?
Listen, I was having a fupa praise dance this morning. Ooh, thank you, Lord. Thank you for this fupa.
Not a fupa praise.
Come on,
Angela.
Yvette. I'm just saying that's exactly literally what it was. But Brittney, I'm so proud of you, and the turn and change was in your mindset first, and then it played its way out. That vision board is the same thing. It's like you have the vision. You just, and then you let the journey come to you. You had the vision, and then the task came, and then when you look back, you're like, oh, that was already in my journey. You put it there.
But another big part of her story is that she was open to receive, to hear someone say, you got to change what you're doing to be able to receive the things. That's a lot of part
and she sought it out. Because it so happened that Lachelle was the vessel, but you sought her out, and being open is everything. Because how many times do we hear from somebody be like, yeah, but as soon as you said that, you ain't listening to me, or you're not listening to that person. I just want to come back to something real quick. I say this just because I don't want to forget what I'm saying. Water. We need to talk about water, right?
Oh, yes.
There's a connection that I never really knew was happening. But Nikki, since we all her best friends, how many times? Raise your hand if she's called you from the shower. From the shower. Right?
Okay. Nikki and I talk all the time in the shower.
She's in the shower. Yep. But there's something about this water thing, right? And what I realized, I'll be quick, I promise. Like, I'll go to the bathroom, just like to use the bathroom, and then all these ideas come. I was like, why am I, like, I almost felt like calmer in there, whatever. In the shower, what's been happening to me? Just you're welcome. That little boy that sings, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing's gonna be all right. His voice comes to me in the shower, right? When I was going through something a couple of weeks ago, and I said, Mike, to my husband, I was like, find that little boy for me. I need to hear his voice right now. We were sitting at the table, and he finds it and he plays it. And then you got to watch that video twice, right? Because he gets in the camera and he goes, because every little thing is going to be all right. And he's looking into your soul, right? I get in the shower, I hear his voice. Whatever is plaguing me goes away. And then I have, for the minute, because it's going to, whatever it is, the challenges are legitimate and they're real, but it's going to be fine because of what we were just talking about. It has to be. It's connected to the like a car being repossessed has a function of giving you experiences that you didn't have prior to that, right? And then those experiences or that that knowledge shows up somewhere else, and you're like, oh, this is why I'm able to do this. And it's connected, right? The other thing that's been happening to me in the shower, great is your mercy towards me. Great is your kindness with it. Like, and it just is like, okay, I got it. Donnie McClurkin, and the way that he sings that song, it is your mercy. If I believe that your mercy is so great towards me, regardless to all this stuff that's happening, I have to be like, okay, it centers me, it calms me. The water coming down on me is a confirmation that it's going to be fine, right? It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I get out, and then I can tackle that. But in that moment, I'm here in gratitude. Now, just ask Brittney. Everybody's name is Yvette. Brittney Griffin. You just blessed me so much, because it is a fear of asking. That's crazy. I can't answer that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know that lady. But you just said, and I've done it. I'm not prepared to share that story right now, but I've done it where I said to somebody, if you're ever looking for somebody, let me know. I'm the person you need. Girl, I'm the person you need. And it's coming to me like, okay, so you just asked. And finally, I'll say this. Them shower affirmations, Fixer. Can I get those on Amazon? Because I need them.
Yeah, I want those too.
I'll send you guys the link. And her name is Jax Kelly on Instagram. JAX.
Oh, I love. She's the one that writes those little cute ones and like holds them up. And
I think so. She does a lot, but she sells all different kinds. And I think they're having a sale right now, like a buy two or something. They're really, and there's a lot in the pack. But Crystal, what I also wanted to add to that was that I also believe, when I was younger, I used to say like, well, why isn't this happening for me? And I was always happy for the other people around me, because I also do believe if you're around people that are winning, like, you're next, it's coming. It's just not your time. But, my mom would say, it's coming. And Nikki would be like, it's coming. And I'd be like, you said it was coming last year. Where is it? Like all the time. But I look back, and there were certain things and positions that prepared me for the things now. So for instance, I worked for my friend Robert Hartwell doing his social media for his company. When I was working for him, I learned from a woman there, Kate Lumpkin, who just hired me at James Madison University to put up Chicago. I learned from her how to use this program called Canva. I then used Canva to create these decks to sell myself to Lululemon. Then fast forward, I started working for a Broadway veteran as her assistant, and assistant wasn't my thing, but also everyone was like, I don't know, like, just see what happens with this. And we have formed a beautiful friendship. I don't work for her anymore because I took the Kimberly Akimbo job, but she was my connection to the Kimberly Akimbo job. So then once I got into Kimberly Akimbo, my very first day, the choreographer was like, yeah, I'm going to need you to, keep a show Bible is what we call it. And it's a chart. You chart every single move in the show. So if someone moves left, if someone moves, you have to keep track. It's hundreds of pages. And most people use a program called StageRight. I didn't know how to use StageRight. StageRight was $2,000. I wasn't going to buy StageRight at that moment. And I said to myself, how am I going to make charts for the show? And what can I use that's really easy to use that I know how to use really well? Canva. So had I booked this, all of these things I was learning and skills that I was developing and picking up that I was later, that I later on used to help me. And so when I printed that book out, everyone at the theater was like, oh my God, this isn't it. Because I had already prepared from a previous job. You know what I mean? And so I also say that to say, I also was in a year of where I said, I'm not going to say no to anything. Unless it's something absolutely crazy, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say yes to as many things as possible, shift them, puzzle piece it, and make it work. And like just everything just kept snowballing and booking this and that. So it's just been insane. Not saying no to opportunities that I would usually say no to because they led me to something else. and manifesting.
And
Really, really, truly making it a point to do it every day consistently.
And what I want to add to Britt, and we're about to wrap up, everyone. One, as your friend, you know, I say this to you all the time. I am so proud of you, and you always go, well, why are you proud of me? And one of the reasons I want you to come on, because I really feel like when we talk about, you just talked about these different tasks, like Nikki was saying earlier. You need the task. The tasks are a part of the journey, but you weren't necessarily focused on the task. You learned these tasks, and they have become a part of your journey that's excelled you into so many things that when you get to all these different avenues, oh, I already have this trait, I already have this skill, I already have this. But I literally watched you make a choice. I'm about to cry. I literally watched you make a choice to get out of something, to get out of your way. I watched you make a choice. You didn't sit there anymore and say, I'm just going to stay here and cheer. I'm going to keep cheering on everybody else, but I'm just going to stay here and wallow. I saw you make a choice. Like Chandra said, you seeked out, you got support, and then you listened to Lachelle and you put things in action, and you shifted and you pivot and you stopped going to all the auditions that you didn't want to go to, that you thought you needed to do. You got out of that and you started focusing on your zone of genius and what you wanted and what you believed and what God put you on the earth and the purpose to be. And like Shani said, when you open yourself up and you started doing that and you shift and pivot, the blessings just continue to rain down and you continue to go on your journey. And that's why I wanted you to tell your story today. And yeah, it's about the manifestation and it is about saying no. But the biggest thing is, Brittney, you made a choice to get out of your way and to put yourself first and to speak what you want and to take the action and to take these tasks and to keep going on that journey. And you have showed me that. You have showed me that. And I thank you. And I think that's what's important in this conversation today. We get to make a choice. We get to make a choice. And I know it's tough. And it's easier for people like Brittney and I because we don't have children. So my hats go off to y'all mamas all the time because I got a mama that made choices to put me first for a very long time and maybe didn't get a chance to do what she needed to do. But I applaud you, mamas, especially my co-host on here. I see you also making different choices to get out of the way and to continue the journey. And that's what I want to say. I know, Shani, you were about to say something. You can say it real quick.
Oh no, I was gonna say yesterday I took this workshop. I take workshops all the time. I just be bored sometimes. I just be like, let me go jump on this workshop or whatever. I took this workshop yesterday that was literally about what Brittney was saying about taking that step to ask or to introduce yourself or to, you know, whatever. Because in our industry, in the entertainment industry, I mean, in any industry really, but in the entertainment industry, it's really about relationship. You know, it's who you know, it's who can get you to the next level. It's, you know, it's that person vouching for you that, you know, allows somebody to give you a chance, or it's you being bold and being able to say, I am this A, B, C, and D, and, you know, try me and see. F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this workshop that I took yesterday was just so it's just confirming everything that you were just saying, Brittney, about just taking that first step and putting your egos and prides and you know how we always diminish it, like, oh, I was kind of like you did it earlier. I was kind of playing, but I was real, you know, a little bit serious about. No, you were being serious. You were like, Trick, I want to work with you.
No, you're so right. You're so right.
You know,
And so that it's just really confirming that for me. And I definitely am that, but I'm trying to teach my clients to be that way and walk into spaces and be like, you know, we don't carry business cards anymore. Your business card is how you talk, how you say, what's your elevator pitch? You know, if I ask you right now, what's your 1 minute elevator pitch? Who are you and what can you do for me? Is really what people want to know. You know what I'm saying? And so this is just like a confirmation to that. And real quick, I will say the water thing is scientific, and I told y'all that before. It is proven. It is scientific that 75 hard that I did, water was a part of it. You take a 5-minute cold shower to calm yourself down, to reinforce. You know, if you're feeling horrible, or if you're feeling, you know, just sad or whatever, go take a cold shower. I bet you feel different. Cold, not hot. Cold shower.
Wash away. I just want to point out really quickly, ladies. I know we have to go really quickly. Everyone is talking about asking, and you're like, I have to ask for what I want. And when you were talking about how you got what you want, no one asked. You told, I can do that. Oh, I do that. Oh, you should call me. You didn't ask. You put yourself in position to receive because you offered your services. You offered your help. You didn't ask if you need somebody, call me. You were like, oh, you know, I do that. So you told them and let them know, like, I'm the girl, I'm the woman for the job. And even with you, Brittney, you put yourself out there as a joke. You know, joke. If you don't joke about yourself, you her. You're it. That's it. It's a joke. That's it. So, but we telling.
I know we have to go. I just wanted to add, also, I think in my head, I always thought, you know, especially for most of y'all in here are moms. So it's very difficult to add in any extra thing. Like, no one has time, right? Like, you're like, I'm wiping butts, I'm carpooling, I'm this. I'm like, who has time to like sit and man? One thing that I think is you can just add in without thinking are the shower manifestations. You're in the shower every morning anyways, right? So you can say your affirmations and read them as you're showering. It's like a 2-for-1. So that's one thing.
As a mama, we hope we in the shower every day. I'm just
and the second thing is on your phone, make your screensaver something that you want. This is Tracy Ellis Ross. I want to do a collaboration and be a creative consultant for Pattern. So
you
like,
will be.
People are always like, why is Tracy Ellis Ross on your phone? This is why. And then on my other screensaver is Lululemon. You know, so those are easy ways to implement manifestation in your daily routine without having to stop your day. Something in the shower, affirmations, and putting pictures on your phone. You love your children. They know you love them. Take your children off your screensaver and put on your next goal and dream because you look at it every day, right?
I
Yeah.
love that.
But first things first, we got to get out our own way.
I
got to get out of your own way. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? You know, once I remembered that quote, I said, you know what? I'm going to put it somewhere. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to remember it. You know, because the truth is, you were talking about it before, Brittney, when you were talking about, you know, why isn't this happening for me, right? You said this was going to happen 2 years ago. Again, I don't know whose quote it was, but it had something, I want to remind people of this, is desire is a contract we make with ourselves to be unhappy until we get something, right? And sometimes we get really too focused in on what we think we need to do, what we have to do. And as Brittney just talked about, at some point, you just started, as I refer to it, as just living, you know, living in what you're doing, letting the opportunities come out of what you were doing and other opportunities that were just coming in your way as part of your journey.
Yes, no, that's so right. And adding to that, Nikki Kimbrough knows this. I used to think that my Broadway debut was coming by me being a performer on the stage. And I was so focused on that. And because that was the way that I wanted it to go. That was the way I thought it was going to go. Because typically you're on stage as a performer, you make your Broadway debut, and then you move into associate work.
That's you navigating.
Right. And then it shifted to me making my Broadway debut in a way that I never thought was never saw it. Like I knew I was going to be in that associate world and a choreographer one day, but I didn't think it was going to go in that order.
Did you tell her? Who told you?
Right. Making it happen.
Nikki Kimbrough kept saying, friend, I honestly think the Broadway debut is going to come with you being on the other side of the table. And I was always like, I know, but, and also as a performer, you're so used to doing one thing. It's
That's right.
to step off the stage. And I will say, last thing, a few weeks ago, my agent sent me in for an audition for something. And she said, I'm not sending you in because I want you to do the show. I want you to come make a connection with the choreographer. Went into this audition as a dancer. I have not been in as a dancer since 1920. And I was over it. And when I say over it, I don't mean I didn't want to be there. It was the first time that I felt this is not where I'm supposed to be. Like, this doesn't feel right. This is weird. And I did well. I had a call back, but I was like, this isn't for me. Like, it didn't feel good. And what I do now feel good is creating and choreographing and directing and creative consulting and fixing. Like, that is the lane that brings me joy, you know? So yeah.
And I want to, okay, y'all, I'm summing up now. Thank you, y'all, for staying with us.
This is just good. You know, sometimes we have extra people on.
I know. We can keep going.
Okay.
I know.
Before you sum up, say this little prayer, guys. Lord, bring the people that I need to do the work that you have for me to do. And you don't have to worry about figuring out yourself, because he'll bring the people that will help you put the pieces together. Okay. Listen.
I love that. Bring the people that are going to be there for you to do. Thank you, Shawnee, for saying it's okay. We went over. I appreciate you, because y'all know usually y'all on that private chat like Nikki. But no, this was a beautiful, beautiful time. And one of the things, I feel like, Nikki, I'm boss. Some key points I want to leave with us. Nikki said, you know, first we got to get out of our own way. That is true. But the other thing is, one thing I talked about with Brittney, making a choice, but also I think about what we talk about on our show, knowing where you want to go. I think one of the reasons it's easy to manifest. You can manifest. You can do all these things because you know where you want to go. And I think that's part of our journey. Deciding and knowing and being honest with ourselves where we want to go. Brittney had an opportunity to be honest with herself. I don't want to do this dancing anymore. And she finally stopped and went somewhere else. I shared with you guys on Thursday something that I'm realizing I don't necessarily want to do anymore. I'm not necessarily ready to say it totally out loud yet. But by listening to you all today, I realize that's something I get to do to get out of my way and let go and stop saying something so I can continue to move on with my journey. So let's leave with, let's get out our own way. Let's know where we want to go and begin to manifest and look up Jax Kelly and get those shower affirmations, especially for our mamas. So when they take a shower every blue moon, they know what to do. I'm just joking. If you guys want to reach out and stay and follow Brittney, follow Brittney at Brittney Griffin on Instagram. And you can also follow Angie at its_euphoria_2_you. Y'all, this has been great. Continue on your journey. Continue focusing on not letting the task come and the skills to go on your journey. I always think of Chandra when even though all of us say it, be in a space of gratefulness every day for what's happening in your life. And let's keep going on the journey. Angie, thank you for being with us today. Brittney, thank you for sharing your story. Crystal, Nikki, Shawnee, I love you. Shawnee, I'm going to call you when I'm in the shower. You are the only person I haven't talked to in the shower yet. So I'm going to call you.
All right. It's all right.
Okay. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Can I just shout out Mamie? Mamie's been rocking with us. Let me just give her a little shout out. Hey, Mamie. And can I shout out our creative director? Y'all, we got some things to share. We just waiting for all of us to be together at the same time. But I'm going to shout out our creative director, Christian Dante White, that is watching with us today. And we'll talk more about him later. Keep going on the journey. We love y'all. We will see you soon. And have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Bye, everybody.
It's the lady first. unapologetically great, unapologetically great, unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies, that's dope. Yes, ladies, that's dope. Yes, ladies, that's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies, ladies, ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. Time for the ladies, ladies, ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki on boss and Nikki. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.
Bye, everybody. See you later. Have a great day.